chapter number 4. So, in this topic, we will be discussing about matter, what is material, and why do we need to classify them. And we will also learn about various properties of matter on the basis of which matter can be classified into different groups. And at the end, we will study about why there is need of classifying things, how classification of things, that is sorting of things, can help us in our day-to-day life. So matter, it is anything that has mass, that occupies space and can be perceived by our senses. For example, wood. Wood is a matter because it has a mass and it occupies space. When it is kept on a table, it will occupy a space on the table. And then it could be perceived by our senses, like we can see that wood is there and we can feel with our hand that wood is there on the table. So then we say that it is a matter. And material is any specific sample of a matter. For example, we are talking about wood, then the sample of wood, like chair is also a wood, table is also wood. So these are the materials. Materials can be natural materials which are easily available in the earth crust or on the air. So these are the naturally available matter, that is gold, silver, oxygen, wood, etc. Certain materials, they are man-made. They are made in the factories and in the laboratories. So these materials, like for example, plastic. Plastic is made by the man. So it is a man-made material. Table, man-made material again. Now, grouping or classification. It is the process of grouping together of things that are similar to each other in some or the other properties. Properties of materials. So we will be discussing few of these properties. For example, physical state, luster, hardness, solubility in water, floating and sinking, transparency, conduction of heat, conduction of electricity, attraction towards magnet, malleability, ductility, and combustibility. So these are some of the properties of a material which will be discussed. State. We know that there are three states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. And when we're talking about solid state, we know that matter is made up of particles, tiny particles called molecules and atoms. Now, in solid, these particles are very close to each other, and so they are very compact. And there is very strong force of attraction between them, so they are not able to move. So they are called solid. For example, plastic, book, stone, glass, metal, etc. Coming to liquid. Now, in liquid state, the particles are close to each other, but the space between them is more than that in case of solid, and they are capable of flowing. And for example, water, oil, juice, milk, etc., they are in their liquid state. So the physical state is another criteria in which we can sort things. Some materials are in liquid state, some are in solid state. Then there is gaseous state. In the gaseous state, again, the particles, which are the gaseous particles, they are very far away from each other and they have very less force of attraction between them. They are also in a very high kinetic energy, so they are very far apart. For example, we can see gases like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, etc. Property that we know is appearance. So when we talk about appearance of any material, we talk in terms of the color that we see, the luster, that is the shining property of something, then hardness, how hard or soft a substance is. So we talk about the texture, then smooth or hard. So when we talk about color, we know that different materials around us, they have a specific characteristic color. For example, yellow is the color of the gold and red is the color of copper, as you can see in the long side figure. Then a luster, these some materials that have their own characteristic shiny surface, they are called luster. As you can see, all the metals, they are lustrous because they have the characteristic shine. In this category, children, we will not place diamond, because diamond do not shine because of its own property. It shine because of the reflection of light. Next is hardness. Hardness is another criteria which we take for appearance. Some materials are easily compressed as and they are soft, whereas some materials are not easily compressed. For example, stone, they are hard. So sponge, foam and melted wax, they are soft material, whereas stone, iron, copper, steel, diamond, they are hard material. In fact, children, the diamond is the hardest known substance in this universe. Floating and sinking property. We know that if we put certain things in water, it will either remain on the surface of water, that is, it will float, or it will go down the water, that is, it will sink. So, which property do signify this? So, certain physical property is there. That is, we talk about density in physics. So density is mass per unit volume. So more is the density of a substance as compared to water, the substance is liable to sink. So if density is higher than water, the substance will sink. If its density is lower than water, it will float. We know that there are certain substances which float like wood, dry leaf, etc. They can float, and certain substances which have higher density like rocks, metal, etc. They sink in water. So on the basis of again floating and sinking, the material can be classified into two categories: higher density, lower density, floating and sinking material. Next is transparency, and this is very evident that when you can see through certain substance and you cannot see through certain substance. For example, in the play, while you are playing hide and seek, you tend to hide behind the door. Why? Because you know that you will not be able to be seen. Suppose you stand near transparent window, you will easily be seen. So you know that there are certain substance which allow to be seen, things to be seen properly, and through which light can pass completely, like uh, window panes, etc. So in this transparency property, we know that there are three categories of material. First category is transparent material. These are objects that allow light to pass through it completely. Example, air, water and glass. Then there is a translucent substances. Through these substances, light cannot pass through completely. It can pass only partially. So if you are seeing through a translucent object, you will not see a clear picture but a hazy picture, but you will be able to see. So in case of opaque objects, however, you will not be able to see through it. For example, door, window, wooden door, etc. You will not be able to see. Such substances are called opaque substance. So these objects that do not allow light to pass through them is called opaque substance. As you can see in this giraffe, when you cannot see the part of the giraffe which is behind opaque screen, then you can see partially the part of the giraffe which is behind the translucent screen, while you can very clearly see the part of the giraffe which is behind the transparent screen. So this is another very important property, transparency, on the basis of which we can classify things as transparent, translucent and opaque. Conduction of heat and electricity. So we know that there are certain substances through which heat, electricity can pass, and on the other hand, there are substances through which heat or electricity are not able to pass. So there are two categories again: conductors which allow the heat to pass through it, and insulators which do not allow heat or electricity to pass through it. If we are talking about the substance which do not allow electricity to pass through it, they are called electrical insulators. And these are very important to know which substance are insulators and which substance are conductor, so that we may choose the substance according to the need. For example, if we are working with some electrical appliances, we will wear a rubber gloves because we know that rubber is a poor conductor of electricity and you will not get an electric shock when you are wearing a rubber gloves. However, if you are working with some electrical circuit and you want the current to pass through it, you will not use a plastic wire because you know that current will not pass through plastic. you will use a metal wire because you know that metal allow the electricity to pass through it. So such knowledge is very important to know which substances are conductors and which substances are insulators in our daily working or in our day-to-day working of water. So this is a very important again property whether a substance is soluble in water or it is insoluble in water. So if a substance disappear in water, then that substance is called soluble substance. For example, if you add 1 spoonful of salt in water, what will you observe? You will observe that the salt disappeared in water. Where did it go? It went into the intercellular spaces of the intermolecular spaces of water molecule and you are not able to see it. So they are actually soluble substances. And when we are talking about insoluble substance, for example, you add sand in water, you can easily see the sand. It does not disappear. In that case, we say that sand is insoluble in water. So soluble substances that get completely dissolved when mixed in water, example, salt and sugar. So we should know in this solubility, when we are talking about, we should know what is a solute, what is a solvent. So solute is a substance which is added in a smaller quantity to the main water, that is a solvent. And solvent is a substance in which the solute is mixed. And together, solute and solvent, they are called solution. So it is a mixture of solute and solvent. Now, in solubility of water, we should also understand a concept that sometimes by increasing the temperature, you can increase the solubility, and by decreasing the temperature, you can decrease the solubility. Solubility of liquid and gases in water. Then, when we are talking about solubility in liquid and gases, we use another term. Instead of soluble, insoluble, we talk about miscible and immiscible. The meaning remains the same. Miscible means substance that completely get mixed in water and they are called miscible substance. Our example are glycerine, alcohol, oxygen, carbon dioxide. And immiscible substances that are do not completely get mixed in water, they are called immiscible substance. Example, kerosene, mustard oil, or any other oil like olive oil, etc. And nitrogen gas, hydrogen gas, they are immiscible in water. So when we are talking about gas and when we are talking about air, certain components of air are completely soluble in water, and whereas certain component of the air are insoluble in water, that is immiscible in water. So you can see here vinegar and some oil is added, and you can see the two layers are formed. Why? Because they are immiscible in each other. They are not dissolving. They are not completely dissolving. So they form a distinct layer. So whenever two substances are immiscible, they will form separate layer in case of liquid. So while we talk about so many properties and when we are talking about matter and when we are talking about properties like hardness, solubility, then floating and sinking property, appearance. So what is the advantage of classifying things? First, it helps us to identify and locate the things. Second, it helps us to understand similarities or dissimilarities between the object, and it also makes study of matter easy and systematic. For example, if we see a library, you see that books are arranged according to class or subject or alphabetical order, but they are arranged. Can you imagine a library where books are not arranged? You will not be able to find any book and your time will be wasted. Similar is the case with chemist shop. The medicines are arranged alphabetically or according to the diseases or on the basis of certain criteria, tablets or tablet syrup, whatever, but they have arranged them their shop on the basis of certain properties. So what if all the medicines are mixed together? You will spend more time in the chemist shop receiving the medicine, and it will be very difficult for the chemist to sort a medicine and give it to you in a quick time. So this is a very advantageous method, children, to sort things, and for that we need to know about the properties of the thing. because unless and until we know their properties, we will not be able to classify, we will not be able to sort. So that's it for this sorting material. Thank you and have a nice day.